49 live update here in San Francisco on this October 24th, 2024. 49ers getting ready to take on the Dallas Cowboys. A rivalry renewed for Sunday Night Football. They'll have that game on NBC Sports, Bay Area NBC 11, preceded by Football Night in America. And we will get you ready for Niners and Cowboys this week. The rivalry renewed. Of course, the Niners and Cowboys had some very iconic games over the years since the 1970 league merger. Of course, the NFC championships, the times they hooked up in the playoffs in 1970. 1971 and 72. 70 was the first ever postseason appearance and first division title outright for the Niners. They went all the way to the NFC Championship. They ended up losing to the Cowboys 17-10, which it would be the final game ever at Kezar Stadium on the heels of Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. The next year they will play the NFC Championship game. This time at Dallas, of course, that was the first year the Niners left Kezar Stadium to head out southeast of San Francisco to Candlestick Park, newly enclosed Candlestick Park. The Cowboys end up beating them 14-3. Dallas goes all the way, advanced to the Super Bowl, and beat the Miami Dolphins in Super Bowl VI, 24-3. Then 1972, in the NFC divisional playoff, the Niners won their third straight divisional playoff. They end up beating, looked like the Niners were going to advance to the NFC Championship game. Unfortunately, Roger Staubach and his miracle comeback finish defeated the Dallas 49ers. And that game sent the Niners into a tailspin for the rest of the decade. Dallas goes on to dominate powers in the NFC with another Super Bowl win in 1977. They did well in 75. They got their loss to the Steelers. They won it all in 77 with their 27-10 win over the Broncos in Super Bowl 12, and they lost to the Steelers 35-31 in Super Bowl 13 in January of 79. And then, of course, the NFC Championship game, 1981, 49ers, Cowboys, Montana to Dwight Clark, the catch that started off for the 49ers in the 80s, winning 28-27. They would go on to beat the Bengals 2 weeks later in Super Bowl 16 in the Pontiac Silverdome against the Cincinnati Bengals. For the Cowboys, it was a decade. They would lose again in the NFC title game in the strike short 1982 season to their rival and soon-to-be Super Bowl champion Washington Redskins. And then things went sour for Dallas the rest of the way. So the 49ers going to be playing the Cowboys, and some of the news, Deebo Samuel, Juan Jennings, George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, Ronnie Bell, all practicing as they're getting ready for the Dallas Cowboys. Trade deadline coming up in a little less than 2 weeks on November 5th, which is Election Day, at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We'll see what the Niners going to do. They may have to get another wide receiver. We'll have to see where they play. They make another transaction. So we're going to be just prepared, getting you ready for the 49ers. Right now what we'll do is check in on 49ers.com and see what is the latest going down in Santa Clara. And a reminder again, the Niners will be playing. Also a reminder, on Saturday we're having a special event down in San Jose, 49ers Dallas Cowboy Rally. It's going to be from 1 to 4. Antonio Varlo, the rest of the crew will be out there for that. And we'll post some more of that. And also, in our segment today, we're going to go back 35 years for week number 7, 1989 49ers. Niners taking on the New England Patriots. As this was an interconference game, and the Niners playing this game, of course, unfortunately, the game was moved to Stanford Stadium by Palo Alto, about 25 minutes or a half hour drive from San Francisco, from Candlestick Park, due to the partial damage of the earthquake, which, of course, that was the Loma Prieta earthquake that disrupted prior to Game 3 of the 1988 series, known as the Battle of the Bay between the Giants and the Oakland A's. So we're going to go to week number... We are going to go into week number... So we're going to go to week number 6 or 7. So we'll go into week number 6 or 7. Week 7. Of course, the game was played at Stanford Stadium as Candlestick Park sustained significant damage by the Loma Prieta earthquake 5 days earlier. And the Niners would go on to win this game 37-20. We'll give you some of the In the first quarter, there was no score. Then New England Patriots, Steve Grogan connected with the veteran Stanley Morgan, the both longtime veteran Patriots, 55-yard touchdown. That put New England up 7-0. Jerry Rice caught a 3-yard pass from Joe Montana. It was tied at 7-7. Mike Kofor hit a 23-yard field goal, made it 10-7 San Francisco. Greg Davis hit a 49-yard field goal to tie it at 10. Then Wesley Walls with a 1-yard pass for Steve Young. Montana left that game with a knee injury, and then not the more was compounded when Jeff Fuller went down with that serious neck injury, ended up ultimately ending his career. So then in the third quarter, Morgan had a 19-yard pass from the veteran Steve Grogan to tie the game at 17-17. Then Steve Young connected with Jerry Rice, a 50-yard striker, 24-17. Then in the fourth quarter, Greg Davis hit a 21-yard field goal. It was 24-29ers. Then John Taylor caught a 43-yard catch and run from Steve Young, 31-20 was the final was, and then Roger Craig added a 3-yard run. They missed the extra point, 37-20. Steve Young, 11-12, 188 yards. He threw for 3 touchdown passes. Steve Grogan, the veteran, 15-29, 240 yards and 2 touchdown passes. He threw 2 interceptions. John Stevens, 21 carries for 63 yards. Roger Craig, 22 carries and a touchdown. The top receivers, Irving Fryer, 5 catches for 102 yards. Tom Rathman, 11 catches for 103 yards. And the Niners forced 2 Patriot turnovers in that game. So, with the win, the Niners improved their record. After their win, they now go to 6-1. They go to 6-1, and now we're going to take a look what went down in NFL Week 1989, Week 7 scoreboard around the NFL in this segment. Week 7 scoreboard. And that's presented by Football Database. This is from 1980. Oh, that's incorrect. That's 80. We want 88. We want 89, not 88. Apologize for that. Okay, so final scores from Week 7. Bills all over the 3. The Bills improve to 5-2. The Jets go to 1-6. The Kansas City Chiefs defeat the Dallas Cowboys in interconference at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, 36-28. They hand the Cowboys their 7th straight loss. Cowboys drop to 0-7, their worst start ever in franchise history. The Chiefs go to 3-4. Interconference matchup in South Florida at Joe Robbie Stadium. The Miami Dolphins 23-20 over the Green Bay Packers. Dan Marino threw for 333 yards, 2 interceptions, and 2 touchdowns. Mark Clayton led the Dolphins, 7 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown. Dolphins improved to 4-3. The Green Bay Packers are 3-4. Don Mikowski threw for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns in a losing effort for the Packers. The Colts defeat the Cincinnati Bengals over the defending AFC champion Bengals at Riverfront Stadium by a score of 23-12. As Eric Dickerson, 31 carries for 152 yards and a touchdown. And so the Bengals improved to 4-3. The Colts improved to 4-3. The Bengals dropped to 4-3. Then in an interconference matchup, it was a battle struggle as the Philadelphia Eagles eke out a 10-7 win over the LA Raiders as Bo Jackson led the way for the Raiders. 20 carries, he rushed for 79 yards in that contest in a losing effort. The Raiders fall to 3-4. The Eagles 5-2. And then other scores. And then other scores around. The Vikings with a 20-7 win over the Detroit Lions. The Vikings improved to 5-2. Detroit goes to the Lions go to 1-6. And then it was the Oilers shutting out the Steelers 27-0 down at the Astrodome as Warren Moon threw for 229 yards, 3 touchdown passes. The Oilers improved to 4-3. The Steelers dropped to 3-4. The Washington Redskins over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32-28. Vinny Testaverde threw for 311 yards, 2 interceptions, and 3 touchdowns, a losing effort. And Mark Rippon threw for 221 yards. He threw 1 interception and 2 touchdown passes. Gerald Riggs, 28 carries, rushed for 99 yards. Mark Carrier, 8 catches for 106 yards, and a touchdown, a losing effort for the Bucs. Gary Clark, 10 catches, 73 yards for a touchdown. 2 touchdowns for the Redskins. Redskins go to 4-3. Bucs go to 3-4. Interconference matchup: the New York Giants 20-13 win over the San Diego Chargers down at the Jack Murphy Stadium. As O.J. Anderson rushed for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. As the Giants improved to 6-1, the Bolts of San Diego Chargers dropped to 2-5, and then the Cardinals over the Falcons 34-20. And then it was the Broncos over the Seahawks 24-21 in overtime. John Elway threw for 344 yards, threw 2 touchdowns for the Broncos. And then Benny Blades, 6 catches for 61 yards for the Seahawks. Broncos improved to 6-1. Seattle drops to 3-4. And in a divisional matchup, the Saints over the Rams down in Anaheim 40-21. Bobby Hebert threw for 276 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Jimmy Everett, 263 yards, 2 interceptions, and 3 touchdowns. Saints drop to 3-4. Rams go to 5-2. And then on Monday Night Football, it was the Cleveland Browns over the Bears, 27-7. Jim Harbaugh, or Bernie Kosar, threw for 281 yards and 2 touchdowns. And leading the night, Webster Slaughter, 8 catches for 186 yards and a touchdown, including that big 99-yard striker that sealed up the game for the Browns. So the Browns improved to 4-3. The Bears dropped to 4-3. And also, just a reminder, we're going to be putting up the Niners Radio special podcast. In case you missed it, it was last night we did the special with Steve Young. It was a great thing. Steve Young, Michael Silver. I posted up that interview with Michael Silver we did. Glad he was very fortunate to come out for our podcast. And it was a great night. You missed it. Talk about Kyle Shanahan, the offense, a history. Talk about Steve Young and the 94 Super Bowl season 30 years ago. Boy, that didn't feel that long ago. I'll be putting up that podcast later sometime in the day or in the evening. So there you have it. Thank you for watching. Now, till next time when we do a recap of 1989, we'll go to Week 8 as the Niners are at 6-1, and with the Rams losing, now are in first place in the NFC West by 1 full game. As the season getting close towards the halfway mark, next week when we recap 1989, or 35th anniversary of the 49ers back-to-back Super Bowl wins, we'll take you back to week number 8 when the Niners travel east to the New Jersey Meadowlands to take on the struggling New York Jets. We'll recap that game, recap of week 8, and then tomorrow we'll take a look back at our 49ers 30-year anniversary segment, look back at the 1994 49ers Super Bowl season. We'll take a look at week number 8, the 49ers taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Niners, of course, were coming off that huge win over the Atlanta Falcons the previous week when Deion Sanders had that big interception for a touchdown, and then that little skirmish he had with Andre Rison. And the Niners won that game 42-3. They take possession of first place. This is where the Niners are starting to turn it around after that ugly loss 2 weeks prior. So we have more stuff. We'll have another edition of Niners Radio 49ers Live tomorrow. Latest news of the 49ers, go to 49ers.com. Check us out on youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. And we're going to continue to build this thing, and we're going to continue to build this thing to the high standard that we're going to be one of the best podcasters. For now, Brian Professor B. Davis, it's so long. Thank you for watching 49ers Live Update on Niners Radio 49. 49ers Live Update is an association with the Satellite Digital Media News Network. 49ers football, faithful to the Bay. Take care, everybody. Talk to you later.